You need to understand that there are multiple career paths in tech. Try to check where your strength lies in and then see how you can align yourself. Do a little bit of research and then see what roles falls within your strength that is going to help you.
So now we move on to the second part of our session today, part 2, and it says the different rules behind software products. So we've mentioned a couple of rules so far. We've mentioned a lot. UI designers, front-end developers, a lot of them have been mentioned. Now, this is what I want to ask.
Right, sir.
People usually think that one person can handle the whole product. So is it usually a one-person thing or is it like a team effort?
Okay, now this still boils down to who you are building for.
Yes.
If you are building an application or a software that you want it to be scalable, you want it to be able to reach a wider audience, then it's not advisable for you to have one person build that product. So it basically boils down on who your audience is, who your users is. Before, but it's not really advisable to have one person build a product or build a software.
Okay.
It's not advisable. What if that person falls sick? Doesn't mean that product should not continue. So obviously it's not advisable.
Yeah.
That it's obvious it's better to have multiple people work on product.
Okay. So it's more like a team effort. Basically.
Yeah, sure. It's team effort.
So, but it's not like it's impossible for one person to do the product by himself.
It's okay with so now with the fast price of AI
right now.
Yeah, with this fast price of AI, it's possible for you to have one person build a software, right? But like I said, it's not advisable. But then, when it comes to possibility, generative AI can help you do that.
Okay.
Generative AI can help you do that.
All right. So it's not impossible, but it's best if it's a team effort. All right. So we're talking about front-end developers.
Okay.
I also know about back-end developers as well. Now, can you talk to us? What exactly are the rules of the front-end developer and what is what the back-end developers?
Okay, now when these are both the front end and the back end guys are basically at the center of the development of that software, especially in the tech space. Now I'm bringing it to the tech space. So what the front end, what they do is the design that has been done by the product designers is being transcribed or is being translated or moves from just being designed.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about design is basically elements and colors and typographies and images. Now we are trying to convert all of these things to become codes.
Yes.
So this is what the responsibility of front end is. So for front end, every visible thing you can see probably on a web page is front end. Once you can see it, that describes front end.
Okay.
And it comes from the transcribing of the design into code. So that is basically their work.
Okay. For the front-end developers. So what about your backend?
Now the backend developers, they are more concerned about how it works, how it functions.
Yeah.
Basically the logic. They are concerned about if this thing is working. They are concerned about how the system functions. They are concerned about where the storage is. So these are the major concerns. So backend basically deals with systems, with logics, with databases.
Okay.
Yeah. So how it functions, that is their major concern.
All right. So to simply put, front end basically what you can see on the application, and then backend is what you
cannot see.
Okay.
On the application.
All right. So we've not spoken about quality assurance testers or managers. That's QA testers.
All right.
But I want to talk about them a little bit. So how do they fit into this process?
Now, this still brings us to the next phase, which involves testing and debugging as it concerns development phases. Now, so in the testing and debugging, we now have those guys that you've done developing. Let's now see if it's following the plan from the initial time. Now, from the project planning, let's see if it's following the plan, if we are still on plan. So we come to test it. When there's errors, we fix the errors. When it's not following, we try to realign it back to the original plan, because you need to understand that from the original plan, it's just like you have your foundation. And then when you begin to build when you begin to build, you now deviate from what the original plan is. You most likely experience issues if you don't try to revert back to what the original plan is. So what the quality assurance guys do basically is to try to test and see if what has been developed is actually in line with the design from the original part. And when it's not in line, they try to correct these things and then move forward from there.
Okay. Thank you very much. So the QA tests are very, very important, basically. Like they're like the last man, basically. When it comes to
We like call them the last man. Now, when it comes to development, basically, it doesn't have different phases, because when there's a new update and it's being pushed, you still need to bring those guys to come and retest that. So basically, it's just like a recycle.
Okay.
It's just like a recycle. So everybody is always needed. As long as that product wants to keep being live and keep being relevant, then obviously you should still need every guy on the team.
Okay. All right. So what we've mentioned a couple of rules so far. So which particular rule do you think many beginners misunderstand? There are a couple of rules you mentioned now that some beginners don't even know they exist. Like
Okay.
Now
you need to understand that there are multiple career paths in tech.
Yes.
There are multiple career paths in tech, and it's funny how even within the product designers, UI designers, they still have other career paths.
Yes.
In product designers, we have people like researchers, UI researchers, we have UI writers, we have a whole lot. Now, so there are multiple careers in tech.
Yes.
Right. So, but all of these things, some of the times is being joined together as one. So the ones that are not majorly common will be maybe cloud computing, DevOps, quality assurance. Even quality assurance is not so popular, but then there are multiple fields in tech, and all of these things are available, especially when you want your product to scale. When you're building at large scale, right? You need all of these guys to be available.
All right. So from everything that you've said so far, you've learned that you can come into tech without being a programmer.
You can come into
tech. That there are basically other things you can do.
Now, you still need to even understand that even after the product goes live, you still need people to help you push it out. All of those people are digital marketers, and they are still very needed.
So there's a lot of
pipeline.
There's a lot of tech rules.
If there's a lot of tech rules, and even a lot is still coming up. Right. So it's just for you to position yourself. Look at one of the ways I normally advise people is try to check where your strength lies in, and then see how you can align yourself. Do a little bit of research, and then see what roles falls within your strength that is going to help you. Because if you want to begin to look at which role am I going to get into, which field am I going to get into, you get more confused along the way. So you should check. It should be something like an inward or outward. Sorry, how would I even put inward out, right? Inward out. So it's exactly. It should be inward out. So you should see what actually works for you best, and then align yourself to that path and follow it through.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
There's a lot of things as been learned so far. We've learned about team collaborations. We also learned about front-end development, back-end development. This was talking about the QA testers, basically what they do, debugging, and the rest of that. That's a lot of things from this section.